What if there was a phone that was so strong it could play any game on any settings and handle it with pure ease? What if there was a phone so strong that when you look at the spec list, you think you're looking at a gaming PC? Well, that of course, my friends, is the ASUS ROG 6 Pro, with specs that are unrivaled by any mobile device we've ever seen. We're gonna be opening a maxed out edition today to find out once and for all if this phone is the king of all gaming phones. I'm wynnsanity, this is Mobile Gaming Tech, and let's get into it. So the ASUS ROG Phone 6 Pro has 18 gigs of RAM. The processor is a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, and it has a 6,000 milliamp battery. It has a 6.7-inch screen and a 50 megapixel camera. The front camera also is a 12 megapixel camera that can shoot 1080p at 30 FPS. Like I mentioned, the screen is 6.78 inches. It's an AMOLED display, 165 maximum hertz refresh rate, and 800 nits, with a peak of 1200 nits for the brightness. And this model also has 512 gigs or half a terabyte of internal storage. Wait, Aeroactive cooler? No shot. Wait, I bought a cooler. Did I just waste like $200? Well, we were gonna save the cooler for a second video, which we might still do, but we now have 2 coolers. So we're gonna upload that video the same time as this one. So when you're finished watching the unboxing and the test out of the phone, go watch the Aero cooler, which has some buttons on the back. We've also got the triggers on top of the phone. It's gonna be pretty insane. So first of all, we just have to get into the phone itself. This box is insane. I don't want to cut the box. Just a little incision. We're doing surgery. Oh my God, that's so crazy. So first up, out of the box, we have the actual device itself. Inside, power block. Oh man, this looks so good. This phone looks incredible. Wow, it's like really big too. This feels huge. Here's my 12 Pro Max with a case on it, by the way, as a size comparison. I'll take the case off. Size comparison to the 12 Pro Max. So we're beating it by like half an inch maybe. And we've got the same width of the phone too. Has a little LED screen on the back. We've got the camera, the little blue accents. All right, connected to the Wi-Fi. Actually tapping through on the keyboard, it had really, really nice like haptics. It felt very responsive. Now I've got the standard getting the phone ready for Android, no worries. It's getting a little warm, honestly. It's like kind of warm, even though I haven't even done anything. Ready to scan the card. Okay, so we get a card, which is this. Whoa. This augmented reality. We're finally in and can test out the phone. All right, so we're jumping ahead 2 days here. I wanted to give myself the chance to really get to know this phone, get the ins and outs of it figured out, and learn a lot of the great stuff and a lot of the bad stuff that comes with owning this phone. I won't go too much into the bad stuff, but suffice it to say, there are a lot of challenges and pretty much no functionality when it comes to streaming and doing any external recording. So if you're a YouTuber, probably you should not get this phone. And that's actually why you don't see a lot of content creators rocking this phone, even though it is a powerhouse. First though, let's go over a quick battery test. So we did a charge in about 11 or 12 minutes. We were able to go from 15% up to over 50%, which is great. Using the supplied ASUS charger, it initiates a hypercharge, which can charge the full phone from 15% all the way up to full charge, and it was saying about 37 minutes. I wanted to test out a few little things, do some myth busters, so I dug out a OnePlus 65 watt charger and plugged that in as well, thinking maybe it'll charge a lot faster, but it actually had the opposite effect. It started charging slower, so having 2 chargers plugged in at once got rid of the hypercharging effect. So it looks like internally this phone is not set up to handle 2 chargers at once and to go faster. In fact, it slowed it down. This phone has a lot of challenges when using both ports at once. If you're using one port, it actually will limit the functionality of the other port. but I won't go into that. But that also ties back into some of the limitations why this isn't that great for content creation. However, using the hypercharger, like I said, we were able to get a lot of battery in a pretty short amount of time. So that was great, and now let's game with it. So first up, I pretty much downloaded every major shooting game I could think of and a couple other titles that I personally am interested in right now. Of course, we'll open up PUBG Mobile because that's the one that I'm, most keenly looking forward to seeing how it's going to run. You're seeing that it's initiating a bit of like a gamer mode here in the middle of the screen. I also have this floating monitor to see how my CPU, GPU, battery, temperature, and frames per second are pretty much performing at any given moment. This phone is able to do HDR and 60 FPS. So if we hop into the settings here, we can do a quick rundown of what's available inside of PUBG Mobile. We've got 90 FPS unlocked, which is great. A lot of new phones, when they come out, it takes the game a little bit to actually go in and enable 90 FPS on a specific model. You see a lot of people actually complain. They're like, I bought this phone that has this high refresh rate screen. Why do I now have 90 FPS enabled? And they blame the phone. Well, it's actually PUBG Mobile has to go in and say, okay, we are going to turn on 90 FPS for this ASUS ROG 6 Pro, which they've already done. Balanced, we still get extreme. HD is extreme, HDR is extreme. And then when we do that really crazy Ultra HD, we go down to Ultra, which is 40 FPS. But for HDR, we still have extreme, which is still not available for iPad Pros, by the way. iPhones can handle this, and a lot of high-end Androids can, but we don't have this on iPad Pros. So for right now, we're gonna go 90 FPS. But you can see here in the lobby, we are on HDR Extreme. That's why we're getting 60 FPS. Now, if I swipe from the top left, we can open up the gaming menu, which has a ton of different options. And this is similar to what we see on the Red Magic. We can do like no alerts, no calls. We can do little plugins and whatnot. And we also have full functionality here for our air triggers. If you have ever had a phone with triggers before, this is a pretty similar interface, similar to Red Magic, where we can pretty much bind. You move the L trigger around, you move the R trigger around, and then that just maps. When I tap this, it's going to tap the screen right here. So whatever button that I want in that spot, that will tap whenever I do this trigger. For example, I'll put my fire button underneath this L. Now, what's really great about the ROG phones is that the triggers are actually split where you can have two functions. There's like an inner trigger and an outer trigger. And that's something that I decided to do on the right side of my screen right now. So let's actually open up our controls inside of PUBG Mobile so you can see what buttons I'm mapping to what. So customize buttons, and we've got it here. So I made them a little bit transparent so I can see on the HUD, but if we swipe this open again and we go to air triggers, you can see that I've got my L trigger on top of my fire buttons. I've got jumping and scoping in. I was able to split, so we have dual partition buttons on this right trigger, and I decided to only have one button for my left trigger. So now, if I tap in here, so that the touch pads are right on the edge, but on the inner one, I can ADS, and on the outer one, I can jump. So let me hop into, let's just say like maybe a TDM, and I can show you guys how this works. Cool. As you can see, we're up to 90 FPS right now. Dip there for a second, down to, okay, we're rocking between like 80 and 90, which is still really good. This feels really good. The only functionality I'm kind of missing is like crouching and crouch spamming, but I could probably map that to my thumb.
Hello, wynnsanity.
Hello? Oh man.
Yo, hello.
Cover me.
Oh my gosh, this is also my first time playing on this?
Nice shot. Clear. Reloading.
You're doing live right now, bro.
Target's down.
The blue team is in the lead.
Target's down.
The gyro is not that... I gotta turn it up. So we've got it. We've got gyroscope working, but it's not really that high. It's a little low.
Enemies down.
Killing spree for the blue team. Killing spree for the blue team.
So these double triggers are a little bit hard to... I feel like I need to get the muscle memory down. Like sometimes I've wanted the ADS, but I'm hitting the jump side of the trigger. But that could get remedied obviously with the arrow cooler. If we get the back buttons, we won't need to double bind the top. All right, not bad. I mean, it feels amazing. This was actually my first time playing on this phone, like completely. I mean, this is a very true, like authentic first impressions. Feels incredible. Temperature-wise, we're up to 40 degrees. I think we were only at like 30, 31 when I started that TDM. So, was got a little bit of heat to it, I'm not gonna lie. But overall, it felt great. We didn't really dip in frames whatsoever. This is like one of the first phones I've ever felt where like the headphone jack was not in a bad spot at all. I just plugged this in to see how it was gonna feel, and it really doesn't impede like my ability to use these triggers at all, which is kind of nice. All right, so we're flying in. Literally, this is the most intensive part. CPU, see, it's almost up to 77%, bro. Sheesh. Hey, bro, I bought the CPU. I'm gonna use all the CPU. Oh my God. Should settle down a bit, but obviously that's when you see players lag, try to render in like all that stuff. That's the hardest part. Still at 75%. Dang. Temperature, we're starting the match at 39, so I think that's gonna creep up a bit. Man, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of surreal to play on this high of graphics. Oh, 48 frames. Okay, it just dipped hard right there. I don't know if it's the plane coming over. Could have had some render from a full team about to push us too. It's also a possibility. Probably was that plane. Let's go, baby. Hey, you know what? That's the kind of you're not gonna see on one of these other tech channels, bro. All right, so after a TDM, playing, you know, over 20 minutes of an Erangel match in high graphics, 60 FPS, and while screen recording too, which I really have to say, that's something that you don't normally put the phone through while playing. This actually held up fairly well, and we still have 35%. So, what, in half an hour, we drained like 15% of the battery? You know, you can get a pretty decent couple of hours, definitely many matches on PUBG Mobile at high settings with this bad boy here. Now, obviously, like I mentioned throughout the video, we are going to be unboxing the Aero Cooler 6, which is, you know, an attachment on the back with extra buttons, has a fan, great for gaming, and definitely you would probably want one of those if you're going to be playing on this phone. There also are a lot of limitations with this device if you're a streamer, and that's exactly why we don't see more creators using this and still opting to go for the iPhone, because you can't stream with this bad boy. So it's really unfortunate, but that is it. This is the entire ASUS ROG unboxing and a quick test for you guys. Definitely would recommend, if you have, you know, over $1,000 to throw at a gaming phone, this is going to get the job done, but don't plan on being a creator with it anytime soon. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and for coming over and supporting our brand new mobile gaming tech channel. Click on this video right here somewhere. We'll put it here at the end of the video if you want to watch the Aero Cooler unboxing. But that's all I have for you today, so we'll see you guys next time.